All right, this is a continuation of Ezekiel chapter 1. This is Ezekiel 1 and 4. It says, "And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud, and a fire enfolding itself, and a brightness was about it, and out of the midst thereof as the color of amber, out of the midst of the fire." All right. Now, out of the midst of the fire, out of the lights, of the energy, or the glow, was this color here, amber. This is amber. All right. Amber is a reflection that comes off of bronze. All right. The darker color. If you all right, if you look at this polished bronze and you see amber is the shine of bronze. All right. So it says, "And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud." See, a great cloud. Right. Ainan, which was means a cloud as covering the sky. I mean, a great covering, a cast, came over the sky. All right. And a fire enfolding itself, and a brightness was about it. See, a brightness was about it, meaning the aura of it was glowing. And out of the midst thereof, as the color of amber. See, out of the midst of the fire. See, verse 5. "And out of the midst thereof came the likeness of four living creatures, and this was their appearance. They had the likeness of a man." And that's just period. They all had the likeness of a man. All right. Now, let's say clearly they all had the likeness of a man, right? Now, if you go to verse 10, it says it too. Verse, because it says they all had the uh, the likeness of a man. Period. Actually, I'm gonna get to that in a second. Right here. Where was that? Here we go. And said they all had the likeness of a man. Period. See, they had the likeness of a man. Period. They don't look like animals. So what that's talking about, where it says living creatures, it means that's why it says four beasts, meaning living beings. But they weren't humans. They weren't. Uh, they why? Because they're made of fire. They're made of a different element. But they look like men. All right. Animals. It says what? Alive, meaning living creatures. That's it. Raw flesh, water, strong, alive. All right. Life. So they're very lively. It's, with power. They had a lot of power to them. And it said the appearance of them, their appearance as view, the act of seeing. So what they look like. It says was the likeness had of human had to them. So they had the likeness of humans, like men. All right, man of a low degree of a human being. All right, mankind. Now it says so that's what they look like. They look like men. All right, right here, this image here is off. They didn't have these. That's not how it looks out in the heavens. One has the face of a man. They all have nah. The scriptures clearly said they all had the likeness of a man, all of them, and that's very important. It said it had a period at the end, and that's very, very important. All right, because the angels, just how they look. They look just like us. All right. Now it says all right. So it says also out of the midst thereof came the likeness of four living creatures, so living beings, and this was their appearance. It's telling you it's important. It's saying this is their appearance, man, what they look like. They had the likeness of a man. Period. That's what they look like, men. All right. And every one had four faces, and every one had four wings. All right. And what is this talking about? So this talking about their duties, and also four chariots with them. So everyone had their four purposes or duties or departments to be over, meaning they were heads of each department, meaning like Michael, Raphael, Uriel, and Gabriel. All right, whatever the names mean. Gabar Ya'ala, meaning a warrior of the Most High, a messenger. He was a messenger. You have Uriel, which was sent to enlighten. Raphael, which means to heal. Rapayala. All right. Uriel, which means a warrior Allah. A war Allah, which means light of the Most High. All right. Deals with enlightening of visions. Like it dealt with Ezra's. You have Rapaya Allah, which would be Raphael, which means the healing. And you have Mayaka Allah, meaning like the Most High. So he, that's most likely the one that has the face of the man, meaning the duty of the man, which means to give the orders from Yahweh Bashem Yahushai to the other angels. Alright, so it says the likeness of a man, and every one had their four faces, meaning their four duties and characteristics, and every one had their four wings, meaning each one had a fleet. Alright, each one had a fleet with them, a fleet of chariots with them. Actually, before I go on, I'm gonna get this word faces. So it says everyone had their faces, right? Now what it means is their duties or their job. Alright, so it says what? To employ. That's their employment, their battle. What is their purpose? What you fighting for? Right? You know, what they were for, man, their person, their purpose was purpose. See that? What their purpose is. And this is what they're for. So each one had their purpose. But they all had the same purpose. But each one was set over that department. Just like in Israel, uh, we all got the same purpose, but you still have elders. You still have prophets, some ministers, some prophets, some healers, and things like that. But we all had the same job. All right. At the end of the day, just like the angels do. Now, all right, because that's the order. The Most High gives the order to Yahushua. Yahushua gives the order to Michael, and Michael gives the order to the other angels. Now it says Revelation 7:1. And after these things I saw four angels stand on the four corners of the earth, holding the four winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth. And that wind represents the destroying wind or destruction. All right, and at the end of destruction represents the nuclear missiles. Nor on the sea, nor on any tree. All right, and that represents people. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, and that's talking about Yahushua. All right, having the seal of the living power. And he cried with a loud voice to the four angels to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, Hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our power in their foreheads. Alright, so the Most High gives the command to Yahushua, and Yahushua gives the command to the angels. And those are the same four living creatures that are set to go around the four corners of the earth and be a curse or salvation to some. Alright, to do the will of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Alright, this is Hebrews 1:13. But to which of the angels said he at any time, Sit on my right hand until I make thine enemies thy footstool? Are they not all ministering spirits sent forth to minister for them who shall be heirs of salvation? See, they are ministering spirits sent forth, servants. And the minister means what? Service. Alright. So they're servants that are sent forth, just like we are from Yahushua. Alright, to the angel that Yahweh told to sit on his right hand. And so he gives the orders to Michael and to the other angels. Alright, just like he gives orders to us today. All right, this is First Peter's 3:20. Which sometime were disobedient when once the long suffering of Yahweh waited in the days of Noah, while the ark was preparing, wherein few, that is, 8 souls were saved by by water. This is the first salvation, right? The first death, and the second death is the fire. First death was the flood. So now, and Yahushua was there during all of that, spiritually. 3:21. The like figure whereunto even baptism doeth also now save us. So we building a spiritual ark, right? That's that baptism, being born into Yahushua. That's the ark, the archangel, right? Um, Save us, not the putting away of the filth of the flesh, but the answer of a good conscience toward Yahweh by the resurrection of Yahushua, who is going into heaven and is on the right hand of Yahweh. So it's talking about Yahushua. Angels and authorities and powers being made subject unto him. I am continue on, Ezekiel 1:8. And every one had 4 faces, and every one had 4 wings, meaning 4 faces. Alright. It says the 4 faces we know is talking about uh panyam, which would be like the face or front, alright, or purpose, you know. They say seek Yahweh's face, and he talking about seeking Yahushua. You know, seek life, seek the truth. So it says 4 wings, and their wings represent an army. So each one had a fleet. See, a bird of an army. Now I'm gonna prove that in a second too. Now it says I'm gonna go ahead and move down to the next part. Where it says verse 1 and 7. All right, I want to get this real quick where it talks about where it says the wings. Psalms 91 and 4. He shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings shalt thou trust. And his wings represent what? Is the same word, the bird of an army, right? A wing. Talking about a wingman, just like you're doing they fly in the V formation, right? In the military, or the ducks, and you call it a wingman, right? You have a leader and you have a wingman. So I'm talking about the army, the wings, right? So he shall cover thee with his feathers. That's our covering. And under his wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. And that's going to be our confidence in that day. All right. Um, Now, verse 11. For he shall, then this clearly explains that those wings are angels, or the chariots inside, or the angels inside the chariots. For he shall give his angels charge over thee to keep thee in all thy ways. All right. So that's a clear statement. All right. So you see, it was clear. He said he's going to give his angels charge over us. So that's when in Revelation 7 it says this angel came from the east with a loud voice, and that's Yahushua. All right. And he commands. It said all angels being made subject unto him. So what? He's the voice of Yahweh. All right. So Yahweh gives the commands. Yahweh Shai supervises or delegates those commands to the angels. All right. Ezekiel 1:6, and every one had 4 faces, meaning 4 purposes or characteristics or duties or jobs. And every one had 4 wings, meaning a fleet with them. All right. So it was one chariot, then you had 4 behind them. You know. So it was 4 angels or 4 chariots. Then each one of those chariots had 4 chariots behind them. All right, so it'd be 1, and then 2, and then 2. And that's very important to remember. Now it says, and their feet were straight feet, And the sole of their feet was like the sole of a calf's foot, and they sparkled like the color of burnished brass. Now this right here is actually talking about the chariots, man. All right, so this is talking about their chariots. This is not talking about the actual angels right here. Now it's talking about the chariots. So it described their duties, their fleet, the number of them, and now it's talking about the chariots, meaning their feet, their purpose, and also what was under them, what was carrying them, meaning the soul or the base, right? Um, of their feet, meaning their like we read in I'm gonna get that again actually. And their feet were straight feet, and right here means what? The foot or their path, their step, right? Be able to endure according to as follow possession time journey. So their journey, right? All right. So their purpose to walk along. So their walk, their purpose, man, teach to go, to view, to search, slander. So their purpose, right? These chariots were what? For salvation, right? Were straight feet. So their feet were straight feet. So their path is straight, righteous. Right. So the feet of them, foot upright. See that? Upright meaning uprightliness. Pleased well, righteous, um, convenient, equity. All right. Yashar. Straight. So straight means righteous. All right. Or correction for correction. And they were set up for correction. All right. Now all right, this is Romans 10 and 15. How shall they preach except they be sent? And as it is written, how beautiful are the feet of them that preach the gospel of peace and bring glad tidings of good things. And that's talking about the angels as well, because they're ministers of Yahweh's will. All right, maybe not of the prophecies, but of His will, if anything, and to give visions or whatever the Most High tells them to do. All right. Now it says what? The feet, figuratively or literally. You see that? So it means what? Their path. It's not talking about their actual corns on their toes, and damn bunions and shit. It said somebody got beautiful toes and shit. It said no. How beautiful are the feet, meaning their path. They have a beautiful path before them. Of them that preach the gospel, man. Alright? So that represents the angels as well. Alright, I'm gonna have to bring the scripture out again, but cause I want to bring this out later on in the script in the lesson. But Spirit putting on me to bring it out right now, so I'm gonna get to it. This is 2nd Maccabees 5 and 1. About the same time, Antiochus prepared his second voyage into Egypt, and then it happened that through all the city, for the space almost of 40 days, there were seen horsemen running in the air, in cloth of gold, and armed with lances, like a band of soldiers. Whew. Like a band of soldiers, man. That's why I say what? Wings, or army. Alright, so there was in formation. Alright. Now it says, as in troops of horsemen in array. In array means what? It's set up in formation. And encountering and running one against another, that's scriptural too, with shaking of shields and multitude of pikes and drawing of swords and casting of darts and glittering of golden ornaments and harness of all sorts. Wherefore every man prayed that the apparition might turn to good. See, they didn't know whether it was for a good reason or whether it was for a bad reason, you know. And it turned out to be bad for Antiochus and the heathens. But when we see it, scripture say, look up for your salvation. This is Luke 21 and 27. And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud, with power and great glory. See what? He's gonna be in the cloud, right? He's gonna be in the chariot himself, and he's gonna be with the clouds of heaven. And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. So they are for our redemption, and they're to cut off the wicked. You see that? So that their path is only righteousness. That's what these chariots are made for, and the angels in them. All right, this is Matthew 24 and 30. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. All right, and so he's gonna be in the chariots with the angels, man. All right, with thousands of angels in them, and he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. And that goes along with Revelation 7, where it says these were given power to hurt the earth and the sea. All right, but at the same time they're gonna be doing what? Salvation. All right, so it says and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. Now he's gonna be in the chariots with a bunch of other angels. All right, this is Psalm 68 and 17. The chariots of Yahweh are 20,000, even thousands of angels. And Yahweh Shai is among them, as in Sinai in the holy place, man. So Yahweh Shai was among the angels when they met with Moses. All right. So it says, and Yahweh Shai is among them. So he's that top angel spoken of in John 1 and 1, where it say the light was with the powers. And that's talking about Yahweh Shai. He was with the angels, all right, from the beginning. The same one that met up with Moses in Mount Sinai. That's talking about Yahweh Shai. All right. So he said, what? The chariots of Yahweh are 20,000, and even thousands of angels. So thousands of angels, man. All right, in them chariots. All right. All right, this is Revelations, Revelations 1 and 7. Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. Even so, Aman, meaning everybody that was against him when he was on the earth is here today. You know, whether Esau or Jake. Now, it says he cometh with the clouds. Now, it clearly said in Psalm 68 that there's thousands of angels in the chariots and thousands of chariots, and Yahweh Shai is among them. All right. Now, what was it? It said because it said he's gonna be in the cloud, but it also says he's coming with the clouds. So those clouds have angels in them. All right, and they're actual physical objects. Now it says Second Ezra 13 and 1. And it came to pass that the 7 days I dreamed a dream by night, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea, meaning the heavens, the sky, that it moved all the waves thereof, meaning under the on the shore, all right, and parted the elements in the sky. I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. See, he came in his glory with the thousands of heaven, meaning all the angels, thousands of angels that it talked about, all right, the legions of angels. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were under him. See, this let you know that the chariot was up in the heavens. All right. It says, and whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it filleth the fire. So they become weak, frail and shit. Right. um, it says his word cutteth to the bones and the marrow. Right. And so when they see the Lord, they actually hear his voice, they're gonna tremble, just like the earth gonna tremble. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. But I would But I beheld, and lo, he had graven. See, it said paved work, right? A pillar, a solid object. Graved himself a great mountain, a giant chariot, man. So it was big enough to even be able to sit on top of a mountain, like Mount Sinai, and burnt the top of it, the tip of it. All right, so he flew up on top of this mountain. It says, but I would have seen the region or place where the hill was graven, and I could not. So that's that hill. So if it's over you, what would that hill be? A cloud, meaning an object that casts a shadow. All right, this is Mount Sinai today. So that mountain, that chariot had to be huge to be able to burn this, all of this part of the mountain up. So if we were standing on that mountain, we'd probably be as big as one of these rocks. So that's how big the chariot gonna be to us. It's gonna be huge, and we'd probably be like a little pebble. So when that chariot came, sat on this right here, it was a circle. It was a pillar. All right, it was either circle or pillar, and it sat right across on top of this. Beautiful, man. All right. It says, notice the whole mountain is burnt. So that whole mountain area is burnt. Wow. It said, notice the whole mountain is burnt, not just this. So it wasn't just that piece. So it's talking about all of that. Damn. Damn. Wow. They have no idea what's coming. So this whole area. Goodness. And it looked like a circle. Look at it. Look at that. This is just some of the writings that was at the bottom of the mount. This is where our people was being stupid and worshiping the golden calves and all that at the bottom of Mount Sinai. That's still there to this day. See, now you see it said the clouds with the clouds of heaven. So what's gonna be in them clouds? Angels, just like Revelations 10 spoke about that angel. All right, I'm gonna get that again. Now it says Matthew 25 and 31. When the Son of Man shall come in his glory, and all the holy angels with him, then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory. All right. Actually, it says, and before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd divided his sheep from the goats. And he shall set the sheep on his right hand, but the goats on the right on the left. So that goes along with Zechariah chapter 5, where it said it's the curse that goes across the face of the earth. All right, to render them judgment on this side, whatever they live according to life or death. All right, so Ezekiel 1 and 7. And their feet were straight feet. So this is their path and their purpose for salvation. All right, these chariots and to cut off the wicked. And the sole of their feet was like the sole of a calf's foot. All right, now right here, I asked them. It says, and the sole of their feet was like the sole of a calf's foot, and they sparkled like the color of burnished brass. It's still talking about the chariots, man. So now let's go into that. Because this is talking about the chariots right here. It's not talking about shoes or feet. All right. So it says the sole, not the toes. The sole meaning the base or bottom. All right. And the feet was like the feet, the sole. See, the feet represents what? All right. Let me get that. We'll get back to this one. It's Revelation 10 and 1. And I saw another mighty angel come down from heaven, clothed with a cloud, and a rainbow was upon his head, and his face was as it were the sun, and his feet as pillars of fire. Does that mean he has fiery feet? No. It means the base was as uh, a platform of fire, of lightning. So foot or stool, see? And stool would be the same thing as the soul. Right? This that word soul right here. Now it says the soul. And it's crazy. It says the hollow hand or palm. Right. So it'd be like the base. So, so of the paw of an animal, of the soul, and even of the bowl of a dish, a sling. So if you look up a dish or a sling or a bowl, that's what it was shaped like, man. Let's talk about the chariots. The handle of a bolt, and the handle of a bolt usually has like a what? All right, this is a bronze bowl, and this is what they look like, man. This is what he's talking about right here. This is what he described just to get to the point. All right, if you want to put a clef in it, like a calf, and it had a split in it, or have however you want to look at it, just like what you call a spork, you know, but it said as a spoon. All right, so this would be the sole of a spoon in the center part. So that's how it looked, man, in the sky. See that? All right, this is an ancient sling or ancient slingshot, and this is what it's talking about, man. Of a sling. So this how the chariot looks. We're looking. All right, basically saying it had curvature to it. All right, it says as a handle of a bolt. So if you look at a bronze bolt, this is what it was looking like. All right, with some curvature to it, circular to it, circularity to it. All right. It says the leaves of a palm tree, figuratively power. So it says this. So it's talking about the power, the soul of it. The power of it was That's what the chariot was, man. All right. Horsepower. It says feet of them. All right. So the base of them, basically, man. All right. Now, or their path, or what their purpose was. So now it says the foot of a calf. And right here, what it's talking about is what it says a male calf. It's not talking about a cow. It's talking about what a calf. As frisking round, especially one nearly grown, a steer, a bullock, a calf. All right. So what is it talking about? Circular. It's right there, man. It's not talking about shoes or something. This is uh like they're teaching these churches. It says from an unused root, meaning to revolve. So that's what the chariot was doing, was spinning. All right. It says circular, round. And then it said it was what? And it said they sparkled like a fountain as the eye landscape to look at the color. All right. They sparkled, talking about the chariots, as copper. So it was an actual element, like brass, like steel. See that? Like a chain or copper. So that's what that was talking about, man. Like gold or silver. As compared with gold and silver. So they look gold almost. Right? Like meaning from its shine of silver. But it was like bronze almost, like amber. So that's what this fleet of chariots looked like. Now, alright, this is Ezekiel 1 and 8. And it says, and they had the hands of a man under their wings on their four sides, and they four had their four faces and their four wings. Alright, so it's talking about these angels and the fleet that they had with them. They had angels within them. Alright, angels in those chariots as well. And they had their four duties as well. Alright, so it says they had the hands of a man. Now you see that? So the hands of a man, what does that represent? The angels inside the chariots. This is Ezekiel 2 and 9. Um, yeah, 2 and 9. And when I looked, behold, an hand was sent unto me. Right, you'll think a hand was just reaching out, but it's talking about a chariot with an angel in it. And lo, a roll of a book was therein. So a roll of a book was where? In this angel's hand. Right? And this is talking about an angel that gave him this book, this Bible. All right. Now this is Revelations 10:2. And he had in his hand a little book open, and he set his right foot upon the sea and his left foot on the earth. So that means this chariot landed partly on the earth and partly on the sea. But at the same time, this angel had a book, all right, roll of a book to give to uh, just had a roll of a book, all right, and said he cried with a loud voice. Um, so I'll ask him to keep going. See, this right here is the same thing he told to Ezekiel. All right, this is Revelations 10:8. And the voice which I heard from the heaven spake unto me again, and said, Go and take the little book which is open in the hand of the angel which standeth upon the sea and upon the earth. And I went unto the angel and said unto him, Give me the little book. And he said unto me, Take it and eat it up, and it shall make thy belly bitter, but it shall be in thy mouth sweet as honey. And I took the little book out of the angel's hand and ate it up. See, he said a hand was sent unto him, but he said that hand was an angel. I mean a messenger. All right, this is a hand in the Greek, kiri, kiri, which means the hand, figuratively power, um, means a means or instrument. All right, so that's what the hand represents as an instrument, stretched forth hand, reaching out to grasp, which is an angel in this sense. All right, this is verse 8, Ezekiel 1:8. And they had the hands of a man under their, uh, it says hands about armholes, border, broad, concrete, fellowship. Whoa, there you go. Force. Shit crazy, man. It's like clear. All right, of a man under their wings. Um, Men that under their subjection on their four sides, and they four had their faces and their wings. See, under them. So it's ranking in the heavens, all right? Uh, their wings were joined one to another. They turned not when they went every one straight forward. So they spin, or they have a spinning to them, but they go straight forward. They don't turn like what do you call, an airplane has to do. An airplane has to make a full turn to turn around. These can just go either way, and they go back and forth like that, and they go in V formation to where one's in the middle, two's here, and the other two here. All right. Now it says, and their wings would join one to another. Does that mean like it was flying like that and they was all stuck together? No. What it means, they flew in formation. All right, just like it speaks of in it said they would join one to another, and they turned not when they went, meaning they kissed. I mean they would pass through each other, or go touch to each other, like cars can't do, or jets or airplanes can't do that, unless they refueling. But these just join one to another. All right, see here it says UFOs flying in formation. That's what Esau calls them, UFOs, but they're really chariots. All right, blessed, beautiful chariots, man, of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. You see 1, 2, and 2. Just like the scriptures say. You got a leader, then you got two, then you got another two. So each one had their four faces and their four wings. Or their four wings, so like it. This is their four wings, meaning their fleet of four. And each one of them, you have four leaders, and you have, it's just right there, man. But they flew in formation, and it's where it said they kissed, or they flew one to another. So look at the V formation, right? Meaning, they could pass right near each other, you know. So let me see if I can find one. All right, this right here probably be a good one. You see these two here? That's what it means. They join one to another, meaning they were just near each other, all right? And that's what it means. They were near each other. Okay. This is one is joining to compact, have fellowship with. They were in sync with each other, right? To league, they were like a justice league, right? Um, this is why I wanted to bring this out again, where it says, um, their wings were joined one to another. They turned not when they went, right? It says, excuse me. This is Second Maccabees 5:1. About the same time, Antiochus prepared his second voyage into Egypt, and then it happened that through all the city, for the space also almost of 4 days, they were seen horsemen running in the air, um, in cloth of gold, all right, and armed with lances like a band of angels, a band of soldiers, uh, and troops of horsemen in array. All right, an array means roundabout or in order, formation, encountering. See, encountering, right? What did it say? They would join one to another. All right, so encountering and running one against another. And it's right there, man. So it's talking about the chariots. With shaking of shields and multitude of pikes, they was armed to the teeth. Wherefore every man prayed that the apparition might turn to good. So what did it say? Running one against another. So that's what these chariots are doing. All right, moving in formation. All right, this is the word array, and it means what? Marshals, troops, arrange an army for battle, to put in order, to decorate. So that's an array. So that's what the angels are. They're an array. They're set in formation for battle. All right, that's what they call them, war chariots. All right, so it says, Ezekiel 1:8, 1:9, their wings were joined one to another, meaning the military, the army. All right, the fleet, they turned not when they went every one straight forward, you know. And these are talking about the wheels, the circular wheels, the chariots in the sky. It's not talking about the pillars. It's talking about the chariots, the circle ones. All right. It says, as for the likeness of their faces, they four had the face of a man. And we all know, um, so it says they four had the face of a man, not just one, but they four had the duty of man. And this represents right here, this basically means they all had the same duties, okay? These head angels. They four had the face of a man and the face of a lion on the right side, all right? And they four had the face of an ox on the left side, and they four also had the face of an eagle, and all these are different attributes. Now, I might not go through all of them because I did it before on a prior lesson, and but I know for one, scriptures say, it says, let us hear, this is Ecclesiastes 12:13, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear Yahweh and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. So what's the whole duty of man? The face of a man, which would be the battle or duty of a man, which would be to serve and keep and fear Yahweh, keep the commandments of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. So that's the first duty and the purpose. Now that's the same thing with the angels, and that's given from Yahweh Ba'ashem to Yahushua, to the archangel Michael, and to the other angels. All right. All right. This is Revelations 4 and 6, and it says, and before the throne. Cause you know, a lot of people describe the angels. They said one had an eagle, one had this. No, they all had the same duty, but it just the Lord uh, individualized each one's lot, you know. But they all have the same duty, to tear, to carry His messages, and to travel, and to serve the Most High. And the other one is to keep His commands, you know, and so on, to keep His will. All right. Now it says, in the first beast, actually verse 6, and before the throne there was a sea of glass like unto crystal, and in the midst of the throne and round about the throne were four beasts full of eyes, before and behind. So that's talking about the actual chariots and the angels, full of eyes, meaning full of witnesses or viewers. All right, the vision of envy from the jealous side glance, meaning people watching, basically. All right, just saying viewers, man. All right, and full of eyes, and those eyes represents the spirits that are in the heavens. This is Revelation 6 and 9. And when he had opened the fifth seal, I saw under the altar the souls of them that were slain for the word of Yahweh and for the testimony which they held. And they cried with a loud voice, saying, How long, O Yahweh, holy and true, doest thou not judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth? So the spirits are up in the heavens, and they're speaking to the Father, you know, and they see the angels and everything, and they say, How long? That's why I say like an envy. It's like, How long, O Lord? And they praising the Lord, they begging the Lord, and they asking the Lord to come back and judge the earth. All right. Now, we're those same people back here today crying out that same cry. All right. Now, it says what? Them that dwell on the earth. So out in the heavens, where the chariots, where the angels are at, in the spiritual realm, that's where these same spirits are at. All right. And also the ones that are dwelling on the earth. Okay. So those are those eyes and the chariots that are around the Most High and around His throne. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start from Revelations 4 and 2. It says, and immediately I was in the spirit, see, in the spiritual realm. And behold, a throne was set in heaven. Look at that same throne. And one sat on the throne, and he that sat that was to look upon like a jasper. So it means like a chocolate or a brown. And a sardine stone. All right. I'm going to pull those up so you can see it. So that's a sardine stone, man. So this is how Yahushua looks. All right. Yahweh. So this is the color of their throne, color of them. How they actually look. So it says what? And he that sat was to look upon like jasper and sardine stone. And there was a rainbow round about the throne. So that's that rainbow, that glow. The same glow that's on the chariots. The glory of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. And the sight like unto an emerald, and that's the color of Yahweh's throne. You see that? In Yahushua, his chariot is beryl, which is a different greenish, bluish. Alright. Now it says, and round about the throne were 24 seats, and upon the seats I saw 24 elders sitting, clothed in white raiment, and they had on their heads crowns of gold. And out of the throne proceeded lightnings and thunderings and voices, and there were 7 lamps of fire burning before the throne, which are the 7 spirits of Yahweh. And before the throne there was a sea of glass like unto crystal, and in the midst of the throne, and the throne and around about the throne were four beasts full of eyes before and behind. All right. So now it's talking about now it says the first beast was like a lion, the first living creature. That's what the word beast means, right? Living one. All right, a living thing. So it's not talking about a beast like an animal. All right, not like Nebuchadnezzar, which was it wasn't even Nebuchadnezzar. It was Nabonidus, which was the father of Belshazzar, who was banished out in the wilderness for a matter of time, and he became a lunatic worshiping the moon. All right, and he was a worshiper of Marduk, I think. All right, which is a Babylonian Assyrian deity, and he was worshiping that, and he became a lunatic where his hair grew wild and his nails grew like an animal. Not saying he was an animal. All right, so it says living thing. All right, so it says the first beast was like a lion, and the second beast was like a calf, and the third beast had the face of a man, and the fourth beast was like a flying eagle, not was a flying eagle. It says like a flying eagle. Why? If you read Ezekiel 1, it says that it was as an eagle, meaning um, from its flight. All right. It says, and the four beasts had each of them six wings about them. So each of them had chariots, a fleet of angels with them, and they were full of eyes within. So they had people in them, man. Eyes meaning people. All right. So viewers. So they have viewers inside of it. You know. So it's full of eyes of people, spirits of people within them, and it's like salvation too. They were full of eyes within, and they rest not day and night, saying, these eyes, these people rest not day and night, saying, Holy, 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 Lord Yahweh Almighty, which was and is to come. And when those beasts give glory and honor and thanks to him that sat on the throne, who liveth forever, the 24 elders fall down before him that sat on the throne and worship him that liveth forever and ever, and cast down their crowns before the throne, saying, Thou art worthy, O Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, to receive glory and honor and power, for thou hast created all things, and for thy pleasure they are and were created, right? So, as it's clear, man, it says it was like an eagle in these four beings, but it clearly said they all had the likeness of the eagle, a man, and a ox, and a lion, meaning to tear apart, and so on and so on, to do the will of the Father. All right, see, right here it said what? This was their likeness. They had the likeness of a man. But if you go down to verse 10, it says, as for the likeness of their faces, meaning their duties, their purposes, they four had the face of a man. See, they four had the face of a man, and the face of a lion, and on the right side, and the four had the face of an ox on the left side, and they four had the face of an eagle. Alright? Thus were their faces, and their wings were stretched upward. Two wings of every one were joined one to another, and two covered their bodies. So two stayed down with them, and two chariots went up higher into the heavens, into the sky. Alright, and they went every one straight forward, whither the Spirit was to go, they went, and they turned not when they went. It says, and as for the likeness of the living creatures, their appearance was like the burning coals. See, now it's talking about the likeness of the living creatures, the angels that are inside, what they look like. See, the other one was talking about the chariots, but now it's talking about the living creatures. See that, man? And their appearance was like the burning coals of fire. They had a hot glow on them. And like the appearance of lamps, I mean the lightning was shooting up and down them, all right, on their aura. It went up and down among the living creatures, and the fire was bright, and out of the fire went forth lightnings, meaning sparkling. All right, and the living creatures ran and returned as the appearance of flash of lightning, like flash. They were running all over the place. They had came down to the ground now, parked their vehicles. All right. Now, everyone, whither the spirit was to go, they went in the likeness of the living creatures. All right, joined one to another. All right. So this is how it looked. See, two stayed down and two went up. Look at that bullshit. There you go. See, UFOs in formation, chariots in formation. So it says two stayed down towards the body, meaning the head, the leader, and two went upward. Two stayed upward, and two came downward. You know, that's what that means right there. The two wings were stretched upward. Alright. One's being parted, so they what to break through, spread, or separate oneself. To disperse, divide. So they divided and separated, because at first they was what? It said they was joined one to another. But then it said they separated, and two went up, and two wings of every one joined one to another. Alright, so one joined and went up with the leader upward, and the other leader stayed downward with the other chariot. And then you have one chariot being the leader, alright, the lead angel. You know, and they went every one straight forward. Whether the spirit was to go, they went, and they turned not when they went, right, not to the left hand or to the right side. They did exactly what the spirit uh, commanded them to do, and where that leader went. As for the likeness of the living creatures, all right, so I read that already. And the living creatures ran and returned. All right. Now it says verse 15. Now as I beheld, now as I beheld the living creatures. So he was looking at those chariots and those angels with amber colored chariots and bronze, and the angels looking like red hot lava or charcoal or lightning streaking up and down. Verse 15. Now as I beheld the living creatures, behold, one wheel upon the earth by the living creatures. So another chariot just showed up with his four faces. See, now it's saying with his four faces. Alright, so another chariot just showed up with a wheel. So I let you know it's an actual wheel, man, not a cloud, meaning a vapor. Alright, to revolve. That's what I said again. Like a calf's foot, like circular. Alright, like these are personal chariots. It says the appearance. Now as I beheld the living creatures, meaning plural, behold one wheel upon the earth by the living creatures, plural, with his four faces. Meaning this other chariot just showed up with his duties. Alright? His purposes. The appearance of the wheels and their work, so this is his fleet now, which is all of his fleet, you know, because it said the four angels. This first it described the four archangels. Now it's describing Yahushua. Alright, the top archangel and his fleet. The appearance of the wheels and their work was like unto the color of a beryl. You know, so it was different. It was different than amber. You know, and bronze. Bronze, and if you polish bronze and shine light on it, it's gonna polish. The shine is gonna be as a what do you call amber. All right. So, and that's just how the chariots look, man. So let me get a couple more. So topaz, so it's like a greenish bluish, and they four had one likeness, and so they all had the same likeness. And their appearance, see now it's talking about the appearance of these chariots, man. Just like we're talking about the appearance of those chariots, man. We're talking about their feet. It's talking about the chariots. It says the appearance of and their work was as it were a wheel in the middle of a wheel. You know that so it doesn't have to mean like that. It doesn't have to mean like that, like one wheel this way and one that way. It could mean like the earth is made as a circle, right? Taking it from the three-dimensional uh, ball that it is, if you take it to a flat circle, it would just be a circle inside of a circle, like a magnet. One spinning and another one spinning, right? Make a charged up energy. But if you take that and you put it in 3D, then you get a ball, a sphere, like you have the Earth today. All right. So so it's at what to revolve, man. All right. Ophon. And watch this. Look, what it say? Uh, Pophon, right? Ophon, like a fawn or a calf, to revolve once again. All right. It says and when they went upon their four sides, and they turned not when they went. As for their rings, they were so high that they were dreadful, and their rings were full of eyes round about them four. So they had uh, spirits, people inside them too, and they had eyes of windows real high and lofty. All right. So it says as the eye for landscape. So to view the landscape from these chariots, which would be what windows, not glass, but some type of windows. All right, because they're physical objects, and the and when the living creatures went, the wheels went by them, and when the living creatures were lifted up from the earth, the wheels were lifted up. Whithersoever the spirit was to go, they went. Thither was their spirit to go, and the wheels were lifted up over against them. For the spirit of the living creature, singular, was in the wheels. So the spirit of the living creature, all right, singular, would be who? Yahushua. So his spirit was in the wheels and the chariots, and just like them angels, their spirits was in the chariots. But Yahushua's spirit is in all of them, all right? Because Yahushua created all things, spoken of in the book of Colossians, all right? Under Yahweh. It says, I'm gonna skip down. All right. I just want to get to the point. Now it says, verse 24, uh, 26. And above the firmament was over their heads was the likeness of a throne, as the appearance of a sapphire stone. And that's talking about that appearance being like emerald. All right. And okay. So that's that sapphire stone. Once again, spoken of Revelation 4, if I'm not mistaken. I think it says sapphire. Now this is talking about Yahweh's throne. It says appearance of a sapphire stone. So Yahushua was on the earth. That's that captain that came and showed up with the chariots of beryl. Because if you read Revelations chapter 1 and 13, it says his garment is the color of beryl. So it just makes sense for all of them fleets to just be aligned with him. It says, and above the firmament that was over their heads was the likeness of a throne, as the appearance of a sapphire stone. So I want to ask ITR, is the Most High's throne space junk? As the appearance of a sapphire stone, and upon the likeness of the throne was the likeness as the appearance of a man above it, above upon it. Alright, and that throne is Yahweh's chariot. You see that? And he's sitting on it. He said like Thanos, right? And I saw as the color of amber. There you go again. As the appearance of fire round about within it, from the appearance of his loins even upward, meaning from his waist up on the sides, his aura, And from the appearance of his loins even downward, I saw as it were the appearance of fire, and it had brightness round about. So he had, the Most High does have legs, he has knees, he has feet, you know. So from his loins, his waist downward, and from his waist upward, he had a glow about him. That's the Most High, man. Now I'm gonna get that. All right, this is Daniel 7 and 9. And I beheld till the thrones were cast down, meaning all the thrones of Nebuchadnezzar's statue, meaning the wicked kingdoms upon this earth. Once all the prophecies are fulfilled, basically. Right? And all the ages are, we say Esau is the end of the world. So it's the end of all the wicked ages, man. So it says, and Jacob is the beginning that follows. I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit. The Ancient of Days is the Most High. He exists before days were created. The process of the sun and the moon going around the earth, right? That process was not even created yet. He's before the universe. So before that was even placed within the universe as a tiny, tiny, tiny molecule of a galaxy, um, or planet system. You know what I mean? The Most High exists outside of that operation. So the process of 1 day, 2 day, that process of that within our galaxy, then even the process of aging, the Most High exists outside of that. That's why 1,000 years to us is a day to the Most High. It says, whose garment was white as snow. So the Most High's righteousness is white as snow, and his garment is white as snow. And the hair of his head like the pure wool. So he had pure woolly hair, man. And his throne was like the fiery flame. You know? And his wheels as burning fire. So he got wheels, he got chariots too, that he's sitting on or standing on, or however. A fiery stream issued and came forth from before him. Thousands ministered unto him. See, that's the thousands of the eyes that said um, the angels had eyes all behind them and around them, and they would minister and serving the Most High and crying out to him. That's what it's talking about. And 10,000, the time 10,000 stood before him, and judgment was set, and the books were open. Right. So this is Psalms 104 and 1. Blessed Yahweh, O my soul, O Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, my power. Thou art very great. Thou art clothed with honor and majesty. Who coverest thyself with light as with a garment? Who stretcheth out the heavens like a curtain? Who layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters? Alright. He stretched out the universe like a curtain. They call it the satin sheet. Who, alright, what you call Shemayim, the waters. Alright. Shemayim, right there. Shemayim, which would mean waters. Alright. The lofty, the sky. Alright. The higher ether, which ether deals with hydrogen and atoms or elements. How about that? Where the celestial bodies revolve. So the celestial bodies represent the sun, moon, and stars. Alright. Now it says clouds, his chariot. Oh, it's like it. Who layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters. So it means his houses, his homes. Alright. The upper chambers of him. The going up, the stairway. You see that second story room. So what is that? A chariot, a chamber. Right? A second story room, a chamber. Now, because he laid up the beams of his chambers, his chariots in the waters in the heavens, who maketh the clouds his chariot. See? Who walketh upon the wings of the wind, who maketh his angels spirits and his ministers a flame of fire. Now, maketh the clouds his chariots, man. The thick clouds, clay. You see that, man? Envelope. And that's what something you can go into. The darkness, density, all right, scud, cloud. So a thick object, energy, right? Charged up energy. Um, Chariot of him, a vehicle, as ridden on. Wow, man. The one going wings of him, the border. All right. The one, see, it's talking about the chariots. So he lay him in the chambers, and that's what he said. Someday, swing low, sweet chariot coming for to carry us home. And all right, this is the day of salvation. And I'm gonna end it on this scripture here, dealing with the chariots. Isaiah 26:20 says, "Come, my people, enter into thy chambers." So into thy chariots, right? Um, and shut thy doors about thee. Hide thyself, as it were, for a little moment, until the indignation be overpast. All right. So it says, "For behold, Yahweh cometh out of his place to punish the inhabitants of the earth for their iniquity. The earth also shall disclose her blood, and shall no more cover her slain." Now it says, "Come, my people, enter into thy chambers," because the scriptures say it's going to say, "Come up hither." Was that into the chariots? Revelations 11. Soon as the earthquake happened from the missiles, and he said, "The righteous shall scarcely be saved; they shall be pulled through the fire." All right, and that chambers, that crazy Kedar, same vision that uh, Ezekiel had by the river Kedar, Kibar. Okay, it was Kibar. Um, so what is it? It says an apartment. So he said he laid the beams of his chambers in the heavens. So he make his apartments in the sky, man. That healed up a compartment in the sky, you know. Bed, inner chamber, a bed, resting place, inner chamber, a parlor. Whoo wee. Like condos and condominium in the sky, man. They say what? That healed up apartment in the sky. Now, Isaiah 60:8. Who are these that fly as a cloud and as the doves to their windows? And that's talking about the elect. They're going to be flying as doves into the windows, all right, of the ark, which would be like Noah's ark, which would be what? Yeah, the same way Noah sent out his doves to find land, and they would come back the same way Yahushua sent us out, and we come back to him. All right, so with that, I'm gonna say you know, say Shalom. Kahalayim la Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai Ba'Hashem Harakak Kodash Ma'amah. Double honor to the elder apostles of GMS. Shalom to Yakin. And Nagawak and the children that believe sincerely in the truth around the four corners of the earth. Shalom.